5 most mysterious people. Our world is filled with mysteries we can't explain. Sometimes it's a particular place that's mysterious, or an event that occurs, and other times it can be an individual that does something we may never fully understand. From a woman with a deep dark secret to a stranger from an unknown country, these are 5 of the most mysterious people you'll ever meet. Number 5. Lori Erica Ruff. Tall, brunette, beautiful. Lori Erica Ruff was your typical Texan with a warm smile. She was known as Lori Erica Kennedy before marrying Blake Ruff in 2004, but their marriage wouldn't last. By 2010, Blake moved back home and filed for divorce because of Lori's erratic behavior. Soon after, Lori's body was found inside Blake's car. She had shot herself with a shotgun, leaving 2 suicide notes, one for Blake and one for her daughter. It wasn't until after her death that her family realized they didn't know Lori at all. In her home, police found a locked safe box with several documents. In it was a birth certificate indicating she had changed her name from Becky Sue Turner to Lori Erica. The problem was, Becky Sue Turner was a 2-year-old girl that had died in a fire in 1971. The little girl's birth and death certificates were both inside the box. So if she wasn't Becky and she wasn't Lori, who was she? She had always been elusive when asked about her childhood, simply saying both her parents were deceased and she had no living relatives. Despite the efforts of her husband's family to find out her true identity, they still don't have answers. Her fingerprints and face have been run on every database, including the FBI's, with no results. Was she a criminal, or was she perhaps running away from someone? Whatever secrets Lori had, it seems she's taken them with her to the grave. Number 4. Babushka Lady. Everyone knows about the JFK assassination, Lee Harvey Oswald and the grassy knolls, but have you heard of the Babushka Lady? The Babushka Lady is the nickname given to a mysterious, unidentified woman caught in images and pictures during the JFK assassination. The woman is wearing a headscarf, often worn by elderly Russian women, known as a babushka, a brown coat, and she's holding a camera. She's standing very close to the street, with one of the clearest views of the motorcade the moment JFK was killed. After the murder, authorities interviewed most of the people present that day and confiscated footage and cameras in an attempt to collect evidence, but the Babushka Lady was never found and never came forward with her photos. Furthermore, the moment JFK was shot, everyone panicked and began running in all directions, unsure where the bullets were coming from. But the Babushka Lady just stood there and continued to snap pictures. The assassination of JFK is one of America's long-standing mysteries in itself, and to this day people continue to review evidence and conduct tests to try to understand the truth behind who killed the president. This woman's footage most likely has evidence on it that could change the course of American history and our current understanding of who was behind the assassination. But to this day, no one knows who the Babushka Lady is, where she came from, or where her pictures are. Number 3. The Isdal Woman. In 1970, when a professor and his 2 daughters were hiking, they discovered the burnt-up remains of a naked woman in the Isdalen Valley of Norway. On the unburnt portion of her neck, it was visible she had been beaten. Various sleeping pills, a bottle of booze, and empty kerosene containers were found around her body. Police traced her to be the owner of 2 unclaimed suitcases in a nearby train station. Inside were neatly folded clothes with tags removed and a legal pad with encrypted messages. The linings of the bags were filled with West German money, and the autopsy of her body showed her fingerprints had been sanded off. Police began to trace her steps and found she had traveled all around Europe and Norway. She spoke several languages, including French, English, German, and Dutch, and she used up to 9 different identities, all of which were false. Those who interacted with the Isdal woman gave different answers regarding her hair color, leading police to believe she often wore wigs. She was last seen checking out of the Hotel Marlin, paying in cash before leaving in a taxi. 32 years later, a man who was 26 at the time of her death came forward saying he saw the terrified woman hurriedly followed by two men in black coats while he was hiking in the area. 5 days after the discovery of her body, he had seen the sketch of her and contacted police, but they waved him off, telling him the case would never be solved. Fearing the men may come after him, he never brought it up again until 2002. Many people believe she was a spy, but to this day no leads or any evidence exist as to the true identity of the Isdal woman. Number 2. The Man from Torrid. It was July 1954. Customs officials at Haneda Airport in Tokyo were busy ushering and welcoming arrivals. A European airline had just landed, and the passengers were lining up to have their passports stamped. Among them was a middle-aged Caucasian businessman. As he stepped up, the customs official was confused over the passport he presented. The passport said he was from a country called Torrid, but the problem was that this country doesn't exist. He was taken for interrogation, where he argued he had been to Japan several times on business, and his passport backed up the claims as it showed stamps of him visiting the country before. He also presented various identification cards, all of which were issued from Torrid. When asked about his country, he said it's located between the borders of France and Spain. He was presented a map where he pointed to the area of Andorra as Torrid's location. However, he was confused why it was called Andorra on the map. While investigations were underway, he was temporarily housed in a nearby hotel with guards watching the entrance. The next morning, when the guards checked on him, he was gone, mysteriously vanishing into the night. There were no exits besides the guarded door, and only one window in this room. But it's unlikely he left through there, as there was no ledge, and the room was located on the 15th floor. What's even more mysterious is that all of his personal effects, including his confiscated passport, had also all gone missing. So who is the man from Torrid, and where is he really from? Many have speculated he was a time traveler, or even a victim of a time slip. He accidentally slipped into our dimension from another and somehow found his way back again. Number 1. Elisa Lam. The story of Elisa Lam is both tragic and mysterious. Chinese-Canadian Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old who disappeared after a solo trip to the U.S. on January 13, 2013. Her trip started in San Diego, where she visited the zoo, then she flew to L.A. on January 26th, staying at the infamous Cecil Hotel. 5 days after sightseeing, Elisa was supposed to head off to Santa Cruz. When her parents missed her daily calls, they reported her missing to the LA police and the search began. By February 16th, LAPD released a very unsettling surveillance video capturing Elisa in one of the hotel's elevators. In it, Elisa is seen peeking in and out of the elevator as if she's being followed. She is seen hiding in the corner, pressing various buttons, dancing and wildly gesturing with no one visible in sight. It's a severely perplexing and chilling video to watch, especially once you know the outcome. The same time the video was released, people staying in the hotel began complaining of weird tasting and discolored water. Hotel staff began investigating the plumbing, and this led to a gruesome find. Elisa Lam's body was found naked and partially decomposed inside one of the water tanks located at the hotel's rooftop. Autopsy showed no signs of trauma or foul play. No illegal drugs were found in her system, and despite having been diagnosed bipolar, there was no indication she was suicidal. In the end, the death was listed as an accidental drowning. Even though Elisa Lam's case is closed, there are plenty of questions that remain unanswered. How did Elisa get on top of that tank, displace the difficult and heavy lids, enter the tank, and replace the lid after her? Also, the roof was supposed to be locked and an alarm was in place, but it never was alerted. It may be possible she somehow got herself into that water tank, but her bizarre behavior makes you wonder if she was in fact trying to get away from someone who intended to harm her. Whatever happened, Elisa Lam's story remains a big mystery. So there were 5 instances of truly mysterious people. People come and go in life every day, but sometimes they arrive and leave in the most mysterious ways. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other scary mysteries, and remember to subscribe to our channel so we can bring you a new video each Sunday. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.